Hey guys, Sandy here, and I am not entirely sure what happened to the little video that I do while I'm, getting ready to start scrapbooking, and I show you what I'm using and what photos I'm going to scrapbook. Don't know what happened to it, can't find it. It's not in the recently deleted section of my photos. Like, it's just gone. Poof, gone. So, what I am doing is I am using some Echo Park papers that I purchased at the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo. And they are not new. They're a couple years old, but I still love them. And they're beautiful colors, so I'm going to use them. I also pulled some random things from my stash that I thought would go well with it. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, I do use some distress ink. Just because some of these pages are a little distressed. Like this background paper, this blue on blue paper, has a little bit of a distressed look to it. However, the white with the floral does not look distressed at all. So I just wanted to soften those edges, kind of take some of the starkness away from it, and just drop that down. Now, I had flipped that page over just to make sure I didn't want to gut it, and I decided, no, I'm not going to gut it. And mainly that is because of the amount of paper I have. I actually have about 6 inches of old pattern paper from old slabs and stacks that needs to go, and it's kind of sitting on my desk. I'm not sure how I'm going to get rid of it, but I'm gonna give it away or offer it up on like our local swap group page that we have for our town. Anyway. But I definitely need to get the 6 inches of paper out because I have a ton of paper. I didn't get rid of all of my old flimsy paper because some of it I still love very much. But some of this paper is just those papers that are shoved in the edges. Like, it's shoved in with the stacks and the slabs. And this was back before like slabs and stacks of paper were glued together on one edge. They were just loose in kind of that shrink wrapped plastic, and they always included those really ugly papers. So yeah, I've got a lot of those. Anyway, moving on. So I'm scrapbooking lobsters today. Now, lobsters are, I love lobster. Okay, we have Steak and Lobster Day, and that is Thanksgiving Day for those of you not in the know. And the first year we were here in California, we could not find lobsters, and it was just devastating. Like, we did not have Steak and Lobster Day. We just had steak, and we ended up with Shrimp Day. Now, my awesome brother felt so sorry for me that he sent me a gift card for lobster from Maine Lobster Now for Christmas that year. And we ordered the lobsters, and oh my word, best lobsters ever. They're so good. So good. So we've ordered a couple times from Maine Lobster Now since then, and they overnight the lobsters to us. I mean, shipping is expensive. If you're overnighting from Maine to California, shipping is expensive, but it's worth it. Oh my word, it's worth it. So we got these lobsters, and they arrived for my birthday. And usually the lobsters are kind of like kicked back and a little lethargic when they get unboxed. I mean, they've done a lot of traveling. They are super tired, right? So this one lobster, though, he was kind of aggressive. He kept kind of lunging at the other lobster that was sitting at the sink. And it's probably a good thing that his claws were rubber banded because he just kept like going at it. And if he saw one of us, he would kind of like do that jump thing and be like, "Come at me, bro, come at me." So we had a good time laughing about that, and I even think I said I'm going to scrapbook about this lobster, and I'm going to title it "Come At Me, Bro," which, here it is, guys. Here is that lobster's layout with "Come At Me, Bro." So I pulled out this Hello thicker, and it's a Dear Lizzie thicker, and I went ahead and changed it. It was black. I didn't want black on this layout. I wanted to go brown. So I am embossing it with some Zing embossing powder. Now, I do not have the finesse that some people have when they emboss on camera. Some people do it and it's beautiful. And you think, oh, it's so lovely. Embossing is such an easy thing to do. Well, embossing is pretty easy to do. I mean, it's not not super complicated. You put some sticky down, you put some powder down, and you melt it. Like, it's, when you get it down to basics, it's pretty easy. But it's a freaking mess, man. Like, it is a mess. So, and then this Zing embossing powder, which is new to me. I haven't really used a lot of Zing embossing powder before. I don't know if it's just this powder or this is how Zing works. But, I mean, it put on a thick layer of itself. So, I had to, like, move it down and all that kind of stuff. So, anyway, I'm embossing. That's what I'm doing right now. Changing that hello from black to brown. However, the embossing gave me such a fit that I decided not to use the exclamation point, so there is no exclamation point in this title. Now, this is probably going to be the second layout I've done for my birthday, and I've got a couple more photos to do. And for my daughter's birthday, that I've scrapbooked probably about 4 or 5 layouts, and then I haven't got to the other birthdays yet in the family for 2017. But I am totally okay and happy about that amount of layouts. I could add 3 or 12 more layouts about lobsters and the stories about the lobster on my birthday, and I would be ridiculously happy. There seems to be a lot of talk lately on the internet about being able to fit 1 year in one album, or how many layouts do you limit yourself to? And no, I am not limiting myself. I am going to do what I want. I'm going to do what makes me happy. I'm going to, enjoy the process. Because once it gets to be, oh, I can't scrapbook this. Oh, which story am I going to tell about my birthday? Like, do I highlight the cake? Do I highlight the lobster? Do I highlight the presents? Do I highlight the people that were there? Oh no, I can only do one layout. What do I do? And then, no, I don't want that level of stress for my scrapbooking. My scrapbooking is my happy place. Like, I just love getting in here, playing with paper, documenting the memories, and making it happen. So, if you are limiting yourself because of some, like, out there reason where you think, no, like, 1 year should be in one album, that's a rule. No, it's not a rule. It's not a rule whatsoever. Unless you want that to be your rule. If you want that, then go for it. If you are happy with 1 year and one album, go for it. If you are scrapbooking away and you end up that you have 3 albums and you're happy with your albums, then go for it. Like, do what makes you happy. I have probably about 50 albums on the bottom of a very long wall in our living room for that. Just, that's where the albums live. And before we moved to this house, the albums lived in a bunch of different places. Like, they lived downstairs, the most recent ones lived upstairs, like, they were all over the place. And that made me happy too, because my albums were there and you could go look at them if you wanted to. The same thing here. They're all there. So it does make me happy. But if you feel like you have to keep, like, you're only allowed to scrapbook 1 layout for each event because of some rule that you heard somewhere or somebody said one time, then break out of that mindset and just do whatever makes you happy. Honestly, it makes me sad when I see people that say, I have to fit it in one album, so I didn't scrapbook this, or I don't scrapbook as much as I want to because I make too many pages. Like, how can you make too many pages? How can documenting, that's the latest thing that I'm hearing, is over documenting, and that just makes me sad. Like, how can you over document? You can't, or I can't. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you live in like a 400 square foot apartment and you literally don't have the space for albums, so you do have to limit yourself in that way for size and or space constraints. But if it's not a space thing, if it's not anything that is a big legitimate deal, then just do what makes you happy. You know what I'm saying? if you are looking back in your 2017 album and you scrapbooked one day in March, but you scrapbooked something that happened every single day in April and May, who cares? It's your album. That's what you wanted to scrapbook. So that's what you did. Like, embrace it and love it and own it. So yeah, there you go. Okay, so now back to the layout. Now this little burlap border. Now I really like this burlap border. I really like the package that I bought. I believe I got them, at Michael's, their Recollections brand. Now, normally when I place a border across a page like this, I would have two different types of paper on either side of that border. And I didn't do it this time. And I really like the look of the border across the paper like this. Like, I really like it. Like, it's something that I want to do again, just because I like it. And it's not like some groundbreaking technique, and I'm sure people have done this all the time. But like I said, usually when I do a border, on the one side is one paper, on the other side is another paper. So I liked how this turned out. Now I'm going ahead and using some Zots to get this hello stuck down, just because that burlap border does give it a little bit of lift, and I needed something that my adhesive to give it a little bit of lift, but the foam was too thick, so the Zots are perfect. Now I'm using a lot of stickers, and I'm okay with that. I got a lot of stickers at the expo, and there is no reason whatsoever for me to hoard them. And you know, every time I think I'm there, I'm in that space, I'm in that zone where I'm just using my stuff, there's always something that I look over and I think, why have I not pulled those out yet and used them? Why have I not done that? And that is 12 by 12 stickers. Because I like how they sit in the basket on the shelf. Like, I like the look of them. And I like looking at my supplies. I'm not one of the people that has everything behind closed doors, because if everything's behind closed doors, I don't see it and I don't use it. If it's out, then I can look over and see it and use it. Not to say there isn't stuff that's out that I look at every single day and don't use, like I'm looking at you, big vase of ribbon over there. But, you know. So I decided to use the Jelly Bean Soup stickers for Bro, and then I'm using the Echo Park stickers for Come At Me. So basically it's like, hello, come at me, bro. And it just that title and the photo of the lobster just brings back a great time where me and the kids were messing around with the lobster, and, you know, the lobster was kind of roaring at everybody. So now I'm just going to go ahead and find some stickers. Now I did, as much as I like this burlap scalloped border across the page, I felt like it did need a little bit of extra color, because the hello is brown, so it's brown on brown, even though it's dark brown and light brown, but I needed a little bit of color there, so I went ahead and did that. Now I thought this I Love My Life sticker was appropriate, just because I dig lobster. So I'm going to go ahead and use this Jelly Bean Soup sticker, and it says something about jumping in leaves, but yeah, I don't have the need to scrapbook anything about jumping in leaves right now. So I'm just going to cut that off because I like the colors. The colors are good. And there is yellow. There's like a yellowy color in the floral paper. And I just wanted to bring that out a little bit with this yellow sticker here. And I'm going to go ahead and pull out these die cuts. And I believe these are from Studio Calico. And they are craft paper with white on top of them. And I just really like them. Every time I see these, every time I see craft, I always want to call it khaki. I don't know why. I just want to. Now this is something I like to do. So I'm taking this die cut And I am tucking the sticker in the indent of the die cut so that they're kind of like married together there. And it's just a little bit of ever so slight layering so that it kind of looks like they were made to go together, and it's not me slapping a sticker down on top of a die cut, if that makes sense. So I'm adding these leaves on the 3 areas that I'm embellishing, 1 by the title and 2 by the photos. And I'm finally going to commit to this Polaroid banner here that I had pop dotted or foam squared. And then I'm also going to add a little foam square to this banner just to give it a little bit of lift off of the page, because I want, this is a pretty flat page. There's not going to be a whole lot of texture that really lifts off the page. It's going to be pretty flat, so just something that can give it a little bit of oomph is going to be good. And then I'm just going to go ahead and place this sticker here, and it says it's all good, and it was all good. That lobster was more than good. That lobster was flipping amazing. And I really liked this color of this little banner sticker here. Like, I really like the color. It matched perfectly, obviously, because it's from the same collection. And I wanted to definitely do something in that little space up there above the O from hello. And at first I was going to try to layer up these little flowers because they were cute and very similar, but they got lost on the background. They matched up so well, they just kind of disappeared. And I wanted it to be a little bit there. Not like in your face kind of there, but I wanted it to be there so that you could see that there was actually flowers, more flowers besides just the background. So I decided to bring up the yellow on the title. Now, I didn't have to do this. I could have just used the yellow on the photos here, but I didn't. I decided I needed yellow up at the title too, because if I had it in 2 places, I might as well have it in 3. And this yellow sticker that I used also has some navy blue on it. So I have to make a decision here. I have to decide whether or not I want to just have that little teeny bit of navy blue up there and maybe keep it kind of special because it is at the title, or I have to decide if I'm going to bring in navy blue down here at the bottom. Now, instead of making that decision, what do? I go and switch out this leaf. Not exactly sure why, because the other leaf was just fine on that layout. Like, it was perfect where it was, but for some reason I didn't like it, so I switched it out. Now, I'm kind of looking around and I'm like, where can I find this navy blue? There's not a lot of navy blue in these pieces that I pulled out, but there are little pops of it. So I decided to go for it. I decided to go for the navy blue label, and I would place that down here at the bottom, and then I'm going to have that navy blue flower, and that's going to go over here on the left hand side of the page. And this is probably a like a page layout that is probably one of my go-to pages when I have 2 photos, and that is to have them on ever so slight angles overlapping each other. And I do vary it with like where on the page it goes. Sometimes it's on the bottom, sometimes it's closer to the top, sometimes it's on the left, sometimes it's on the right. But for the most part, I really like the look of that. So I do it. And I do it over and over and over again because I like it. I like my photos touching, or I like my photos layered over each other. I also like my photos separated. It's just a matter of how I'm feeling at the moment. So I went ahead and got another flower, and this flower did have a stem off of it. So I just trimmed it and then used that little blue flower to cover up the green stem poking through, because nobody needs a stem. No, sometimes you might need a stem, but I didn't need a stem there. Now I have these little gemstones, these adhesive gemstones that I purchased at Hobby Lobby on clearance. And I like them because they are a flat matte. They're not shiny. And that is awesome because as much as I love shine, there are just some times where you don't really need it. So I'm deciding where to cut it here. And I'm just deciding that that's a good place. And I'm going to place it down here. Now I did do a little bit of counting because I didn't want, I'm bringing these gemstones down other places and I did not want an even amount. I prefer odd numbers. I just do. Like 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. Great numbers. All great numbers. In case you didn't know, I kind of have a weird number thing. I really like it when I pump gas to have my numbers be even, like $20, 20.50, 20.75. Like it's got to be like even numbers, kind of like that. And whenever my car hits a milestone on the odometer, 1,000 miles, like 10,000 miles, I like it. And a lot of the times I take a picture and sometimes I even document it and place it in the scrapbook. Every time I've hit a milestone on YouTube, I've been able to catch pretty much all of them, like 100 subscribers, 500 subscribers. I just did 700 subscribers, so that was fun. So I've taken a screenshot of those. So that's always a lot of fun. I just like numbers that way. I don't know. It's a little bit weird. So I'm using some enamel dots, and again, this is just going to give it a little bit of lift off the page, so it's not exactly it's not exactly flat. So just going to wrap this up here. I don't think I'm going to add much more of anything else. And I am enamel dotting the center of the flowers. I mean, that's one thing I just really like to do. I like to put enamel dots in the center of my flowers. I'm not exactly sure why. I just really enjoy it. And I'm messing around trying to figure out where exactly these enamel dots should go because I do have a couple of colors of them. And then I have these little epoxy things, and these are from Prima, and they are the By the Sea collection, and they're actually brads, but I've pulled the epoxy off of the brad part because I don't want the metal, I just want the epoxy part. So I'm just finding little places around that I can nestle them in. Just pushing everything down. And then that's going to do it, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you soon.